now. So good afternoon, everyone. It's another meeting of the Web3 Tuesdays series. It's a series of webinars discussing various topics about Web3 and legal tech in general. The session is recorded, so I don't see anyone with the camera on, but just bear that in mind. So if you have a problem with that, don't turn on your camera. We will have a 20-minute presentation by our awesome speakers today, which will be presented by Celestino, who's our guest today. He's a senior associate at a firm called ZRVP, and also an administrator at Metaverse Legal. As we were saying, the session will be about 20 minutes of a presentation, then you'll have some time for questions. So you can type your questions in the chat, or also wait until the end and unmute yourself and ask your questions directly. So without further ado, Celestino, the floor is yours to introduce our guests.
Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Celestino Dinka, and today I have the pleasure of discussing the challenges of building a Web3 with our guests, Oana Dragomir and Marius Grigoras. Oana is an amazing lawyer specialized in blockchain and emerging technologies, and she will share with us later on the challenges that MiCA Regulation will bring to this space. Marius is a well-known figure in the Romanian and not only blockchain space. He is the founder of several crypto startups like BeHero, Black Hack Network, and so on, which makes him basically the right person to share with us what it takes to build in Web3. I will make an exception this time, and I will let Marius talk first about our topic from a more business-oriented point of view, and then Oana can approach the subject from a legal perspective. Of course, as Filippo said, in the end, you can ask any questions. So I think that's it. Without further ado, guys, Marius, the stage is yours.
Sure. Thank you, guys. Celestino, first of all, thank you for having me today. And also thank you, Oana, for accepting our invitation to be here with us. Yeah, some short things about myself. I'm Marius. I finished Polytechnic University here in Bucharest in 2010. I finished the computer science department. I worked more than 11 years on the security side, leading different teams on the embedded operating systems and other deep dive technical things on different corporations. Maybe the most important one is NXP Semiconductors here in Bucharest. And 2-3 years ago, 2.5 years, and started to make some research, some deep dive research on blockchains, trying to solve some different protocol problems on our side at NXP Semiconductors. This is how I got in the crypto and the blockchain space, trying to resolve different technical aspects. After a lot of research and so on, we discovered Elrond at that time, which is now called Multiverse. And together with Petrica Butushina, which is also in this podcast, we started to offer consultancy for different startups and to build and to start being very close to different communities and different groups. This is how we started MG Staking. This is how we started Blackhead. This is how we started BeHero and other different startups we are leading right now. Very shortly, our main focus was even from the beginning to be fully compliant. We all know that compliance is the right way, and we all know even from the time that MiCA will be starting in every country in Europe, just a matter of time. And having this in mind, we started to build different products. The first one was Top IQs, fully compliant marketplace for freelancers. And even if the blockchain was just a layer after everything based on Web2, you can have a very compliant Web2 product and having blockchain as a layer of technology after this. We can build with safety in mind, with security in mind, having a smart contract escrow to have a fully compliant, safe regulated path to interchange the value between the buyer and the seller. Without compliance and a good legal way, you can have real problems, right? And yeah, discussing with Oana here and with other lawyers from different jurisdictions, we found out what we can do in order to have all these things settled down correctly. Very shortly, we wanted to have invoices generated automatically, even if the payments are made on the blockchain. So we want to pay all the taxes. We want to have all the VAT taxes paid out automatically and so on. This is one point. Regarding the legal part, we continued the same status also for the Hero Launchpad. Maybe one of the most important products from our side is the Hero Launchpad, and here we continue to work very closely with Oana regarding how we can let's say legally and fully compliant incubate projects and startups on our incubator. This is from the very beginning, even if we are willing to invest any funds in the startups, and how we can incubate legally. This is starting with the white paper, the legal opinion, how we can correctly put the right category, if it's utility or security for both tokens and NFTs. How we can pay invoices, how we can pay our fees and taxes correctly here locally, even if you are getting invoices in stable coins and so on. So there are a lot of things in order to have the right setup. After BeHero, we are planning to build and other startups and other products also on the right track, having a fully compliant mindset from the beginning. Starting again with the top IQs, Oana was very tremendously helpful with a lot of terms and conditions, and how can, beside the technology part, how a buyer and the seller, how the freelancers and sellers and buyers can safely use this kind of products. Because if you really want to build something fully decentralized and using a Nescrow smart contract, we can have this kind of technologies for a freelancers marketplace. But the question is, okay, if something is happening, because again, you cannot control fully the technology. Controlling the technology in a full demanding ecosystems is a nightmare. Different bugs or glitches can happening all the time. So the question is, okay, if something bad is happening, which is responsible and which has the final control? And again, here we need to have a technical and, of course, a legal discussion. And Oana was very helpful again with the right terms and conditions and with all the legal aspects, protecting both the buyer and the seller and us as a company with the right conditions. Regarding BeHero incubator, a lot of work was been done here, and we can discuss about, let's say, the most important aspects here. Maybe the trickier question is if you are making KIC, customer procedures, in order to know every investors willing to participate in our launches. And the answer is yes. This is mandatory in Europe to make this kind of procedures, the KIC and even the MLA check, anti-money laundering checks for bigger amounts or for private sales funds. Beside the KIC, which is made by Signups in collaboration with Signups, we are making also chain analysis for every wallet willing to participate in our sales. This is done before the KIC. So basically, using the on-chain from US database, we can have a risk score for every wallet. So we can know before starting to participate and before starting to make the KIC and spending our money on the KIC, we can know if that specific wallet have a high risk score and was participating in different hacks and discussing or being part of different bad ecosystems and changing or swapping the different tokens from a specific hack. Beside all this, which was more or less on our side regarding the chain analysis and the KIC, we collaborate with Oana regarding different audits on the legal part, starting with terms and conditions, public sales terms and conditions, white papers review, and of course, which is the most important from our perspective, is the legal opinion. If that specific asset is a utility token or utility NFT. Right now, we don't have yet the legal approval or the license to incubate or to launch security assets. Maybe in the future, we don't know, but everything is possible. From our side, this was the most important aspect, to be sure that what we are building and launching are for sure utility assets and not security assets. These are the most important points from my side regarding the legal stuff we will try to build and we are focusing. Right now, we are discussing a lot with Oana the next steps regarding the MiCA standard, and what we can do in order to be fully compliant after MiCA will be mandatory in every country. And also, we are continuing on the right track in order to take care for all these aspects. And maybe again, who knows? Maybe in the future we can have also some compliance and a license in order to be accepted by ANAF here, the local regulatory, in order to launch and to incubate as a security assets. Oana, if you can take the floor now and discuss more about what you did for us, maybe in a more specific terms, and your thoughts about MiCA and the next steps would be great.
Yes, thank you so much, Marius, and thank you all. I'm glad to be here today with you. And basically, today we're gonna discuss about the measures taken and to be taken in respect of MiCA, and also on the other legal aspects that Marius has mentioned earlier. Basically, starting with the measures taken up to this moment in terms of know your customer measures and the externalization to the third party know your customers and AML service providers synapse, as Marius mentioned. Also with the internal procedure on the AML, and in terms of ICOs and of the tokens and NFTs incubated, as Marius mentioned, I'm helping them with analyzing all the documents related to the website of a platform related to the ICO, the legal opinion, because it is very important to have a legal opinion as an issuer of tokens or NFTs. Such legal opinion stating expressly the fact if such token or NFT is or not a financial instrument, because as we already know, if certain features or certain utilities of the token or of the NFTs are indicating the security token, the EU regulation related to the prospectus and the MiFID directive as implemented in the national legislation would become applicable, and the prospectus would be necessary. And also in terms of the launchpad, other authorization would be necessary. So we managed to verify if such tokens and NFTs are utilities or security token, and we have incubated only utility tokens based on such legal opinions. Also, we have analyzed their terms and conditions, their privacy, their risk disclosure notice, the white paper, and also any documents related to the issuer. related to the corporate status of the issuer. In terms of MiCA, because from a more business-wise perspective, I have thought that founder of an issuer or any other participant in the crypto markets would have some questions related to MiCA, and I will start with the first one. What is the timeline for the implementation of MiCA? The European Securities and Markets Authority, ESMA, clarified the timeline and encouraged last days the market participants and authorities to start preparing for the transition by asking the member state to reduce the duration of the grandfathering clause from 18 months to 12 months. What is this grandfathering clause? Is a clause stating that for the crypto asset service providers, and here I'm gonna enumerate some participants which could be considered as crypto asset service providers, starting with crypto exchanges, crypto launchpad. Also, we need to take a closer look on the marketplace, on crypto marketplaces, and so on. And basically, for this kind of entities, which already are operating on December next year, each member state has, according to MiCA, the right to establish a grandfathering period, which means that they will not require, which means that such member state will not require authorization for these crypto asset service providers until a period of 18 months has not passed. But basically, it seems that ESMA has requested to the member states to diminish such period from 18 to 12 months. This means that no grandfathering period should be allowed for such entities until July of 2026, but you should prepare for 2025, basically. Okay, in terms of timeline, we have discussed. Also, we need to know that in this case, MiCA would be read by a founder or by a member of the board of an issuer of tokens or even NFTs, and such founder would have additional questions such as maybe my ICO would be subject to MiCA or not? How can I know if MiCA will be applicable and the requirements related to the white paper and to the advertising related to my token would be applicable or not? And in this case, basically, such a founder or member of the management would have to analyze certain criteria. First criteria would be the value of the price requested on the tokens. If you have an ICO with a value in terms of the price requested for your tokens higher than €1,000,000 or in crypto assets equivalent, then you should know that MiCA's provision would be applicable to your ICO, even if your ICO has been initiated before the entry into force of MiCA, because this threshold is computed for a period of 12 months. Also, you need to check your product or services related to your token, because if you have a product which will be fully functional or maybe partially functional in a period higher than 12 months, then you should know that you should amend your roadmap, your milestones, and also the provisions of your white paper. Also, you need to see what are the benefits and utilities of your token. And now we are going to discuss about the scenarios where your token or even your NFT may be considered as an utility token and the MiCA regulation provision becomes applicable, or a security token where the provision of the regulation of the EU regulation related to the prospectus and MiFID provisions become applicable, or even your token is something in between. In this case, we will discuss it maybe on a different occasion. The token is at financial instruments. So basically, you should carry on an analysis, a legal analysis on your ICO. And if you reach to the conclusion that your token is an utility token which is regulated by MiCA's provisions, then you should analyze your white paper. And now, because I know that there are a lot of aspects and a lot of issues to be debated and analyzed in MiCA regulation and also in the technical standards issued by ESMA. I know that from a founder perspective, it is very important to know the following. Is my white paper correctly enough? Is protective enough for me and for my team? I have disclaimers in my white paper. There are enough. My roadmap is in compliance. My communication from the communities are them fully compliant with the information from the white paper. Basically, I have analyzed the investors, the potential investor jurisdiction where I'm going to offer my token. If you as an issuer, you are going to a crypto exchange, then you will have a token listed. Maybe you have some utilities which are linked to other tokens which are already listed. Then in this case also MiCA regulation provisions become applicable in terms of white paper and the requirements related to transparency and advertising and so on. If I'm a crypto asset service provider, and as Marius mentioned earlier, for example, crypto launchpad, I have to incubate NFTs, tokens, and so on. What are the measures that I have to take in order to fully comply with MiCA in terms of internal measures, in terms of operational procedure, in terms of contractual relationship? And here we have the authorization, right? It is the first step and the most obvious of all steps. And here we will have, based on the authorization, on an internal level, we have corporate governance rules, we have risk rules, we have procedures, policies to be followed. We have also disclaimers and risk to be disclosed to investors. We have also, because EU MiCA regulation speaks about the adequacy and the testing of the investor capacity to and investor experience and the capacity of acknowledging the effects of his investment. Here you should think about some tests to be passed. This is very similar with capital market sector. So in my perspective, on crypto launchpad, as Marius mentioned, and we are already taken such measures related to the analysis of the white paper and documents, request for a legal opinion for the token or for the NFT. Also, we have to think to the contractual documents between the issuer and the crypto launchpad. And as mentioned before, we already have taken Know Your Customer and AML measures. But here we are in a very happy case with the founders and the great team, such Marius and the guys from BeHero are, and they fully understand the necessity of compliance, because I don't want to scare anyone, but after next year, December, it will be very difficult to provide services in the crypto space without initiating the discussion and taking the measures to obtain the authorization. Also, it is important to know that ESMA and these days sent a letter stating that the letterbox practices are to be seen in a very restrictive manner. What is this? The letterbox practices means that you are using third countries outside EU entities. And ESMA has mentioned in his letter specifically and expressly the fact that such entities should be used within a group or based on a client-specific request for providing services. So you should, so a founder should take a look on his structure, on his business structure, on his entities, on the states where are located the investors or clients to whom he is providing services, and depending on the structure that such founder is using, to analyze in what specific terms MiCA regulation and the other legal provision adopted within MiCA's implementation are become applicable to his structure. Because even if you are using a third country entity, you should analyze what if MiCA becomes applicable and I have to incorporate a new company and obtain an authorization, or if I really don't know how to give an example. There are certain states in the European Union where you can obtain a license for crypto exchange, for crypto wallet services, which is a very simple license, and in case the grandfathering transitional period will be diminished as per ESMA's request, then you should think very, very wisely how to deal with all these jurisdiction and all these licenses, and how to restructure or maybe make amendments to your structure. In terms of requirements related to the crypto asset service providers, I believe that a specific internal analysis should be made as a first step. Then preparation for the initiation of the discussion with the authority, and also preparation for the authorization file should be made. I believe that if there are some questions, I can happily answer to them.
Thank you very much, Oana. Thank you very much, guys. That was both interesting and for sure thought-provoking. Before taking some questions from our audience, I have one question from Marius. I can feel that he's a builder, and this is the general feeling in multiverse ecosystem. The question would be, what is the only thing, just one thing, that you would bring from Web2 to Web3 if we could, and why?
Clearly, the experience. It's very hard to build in Web3. This is my opinion. It's very painful from both business-wise and also legal-wise. Both are very, very heavy. About the legal, we just discussed. Besides having the right specialist, it's very costly, right? You need to spend a lot of money. Regarding experience, in my opinion, in order to be successful in Web3, and at least to have a long-term, let's say, successful story, you need to have a lot of experience from Web2. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, I'm not the expert, right? I have only 3 years around the field, but in my opinion, if you are eliminating this kind of hype and let's say degens culture and so on, the blockchain should be just a layer of technology above of very well and very good Web2 startup. If you don't have a real business in Web2 and you are not willing to put this kind of technology on a real business with real revenue and profit, you'll not be successful on the long term. You can have a token, you can have an NFT, you can try and so on, But if your business is the selling the token after the public sale, this is not your business. The business should be something with real demand in Web2, something that your customers are willing to pay. Of course, you can have so business in Web3, selling different services and so on. This can work. But if you don't have a business in Web3 and you are just trying to make a token or NFT, this is not a business. Okay, so in my experience, from my experience, what you did in Web2 as a professionist is very helpful for sure. If you lead the team, if you try to build the team, if you try to build the product, if you try to build a startup in Web2, all these kind of experience and skills are very, very helpful in Web3 as well. Again, we are discussing about the mindset. Being fully compliant in Web2 for sure is extremely important to be also fully compliant in Web3. All these aspects are mixed up together, and finally, of course, you need to think the things on the long term. And just discussing and thinking with this kind of philosophy on the long term, for sure you need to be fully compliant. And again, we discuss about MiCA and all these aspects. So just a very short answer: the experience. The experience is the key element that can make the difference. This doesn't mean that I don't appreciate the young entrepreneurs or the young builders which are trying to hardly build something into the Web3. But it's so painful and it's so hard to have your own startup in Web3 that you need to be more than trying and to be more than, okay, I have some programming skills or dev skills. No, it's about networking, it's about experience, it's about moving mountains when nobody is even trying. So yeah, the experience, the painful experience from Web2, for sure, it's a good settlement also for the Web3.
Thank you, Marius. That was a great answer. So I think we should take some questions from our attendants. Filippo, so that you write down a question.
Yeah, I wrote down, we're a little over the time, so I'll be very quick. One of them is, how much of your compliance is externalized, and if you have considered or you use any third-party service provider for the compliance aspects or the legal aspects more generally, that there are some sort of plug and play, so you use them and don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's a good question. So regarding the compliance, we have two partners. We have the Unchain.ai from US, and we have the Synapse Group from Europe, from France. So the Unchain.ai are the guys which are making chain analysis support on the chain directly for every wallet we are willing to use into the Big Hero. This is very helpful in order to be compliant, also to have a good the right risk score coupled with that specific wallet. So before starting the KYC, you need to know if that wallet was compromised, was coupled to any kind of hack on the chain, right? If the threshold of the risk score is above a specific limit, you need to ignore it, and you're not allowing it to make the KYC. So these are the guys from Unchain. Regarding the KYC, are the guys from Synapse from France. For both, you need a license. So both can be made internally if you want as a startup, if you don't want to pay this kind of extra services. But it's about licensing. It's very simple. For the KYC, you need to be licensed. That you need to gather all these kind of GDPR data, the passport, the critical and privacy informations. Not any company is able and is allowed to gather all this kind of critical informations. And also regarding the chain analysis for the wallet support, so you need to be verified somehow that your data is not compromised, and indeed the risk scores associated with those wallets and indeed from a good formal verified information from the chain directly. So is about cost. cost reduction if you want, and also the right licenses you need to have. If you have the right money and the right departments internally, for sure, it's no problem in order to learn and to have this kind of services internally and not to be externalized. For now, for us was for sure better to have this kind of products and services externalized with on-chain and signups.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Welcome.
Great.
I think there was a question from Katya. I don't know if she can ask the question herself.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for the presentation. It was really great. So my question kind of goes in the same sense of that Philippos. So do you think we need a tribunal for Web3? Like, have you seen any claims or disputes between Web3 actors where you can need some type of intervention of a third party?
Yeah, thank you, Katya. Thank you for the kind words. So yeah, I saw the question also in the chat. You said, but not limited to the freelance market. Yeah, so specifically for the freelance market, we have a specific use case for this one. We have, if there is kind of any dispute or a claiming resolution, we have like a special dedicated admin support. So the basic flow from a technical perspective, everything should be fine between the buyer and the seller, between or using the escrow smart contract. So this is a specific piece of code that is handling all the flows between the buyer and the seller. But if there are disputes, and can be disputes, okay, the admin, the general admin, which is having only admin rights on the smart contract, is not the owner of the smart contract. This is very important because he cannot move the funds. Okay, he's only allowed to finish or to claim a specific dispute. He can discuss with both parties and understanding the problem, and after he can decide, okay, who is right. And after he's saying who is right and maybe settle up any kind of penalties, the money can be spent equally, or I don't know, on a specific ratio between the buyer and the seller. Beside this, we didn't have any problem for behavioral launchpad, so on. We were protected pretty well by terms and conditions made by Oana here. So maybe some examples, after a specific public sale, somebody wants to get the refund, or maybe wants to get back a specific NFT or a token which was sold. If you have the right terms and conditions, okay, you can specify there. Okay, we don't support refund. We support refund after specific terms and conditions, and so on. So if you have all this kind of corner cases in mind, correctly specified in the terms and conditions, you should be safe. This is the most of the disputes we had in the past. Oana, you want to add something here, or I don't know, maybe any good advice or something?
Thank you so much, Marius. Here, I would add the fact that according to the terms and conditions, in case of any disputes related to some transactions, basically, if the parties are having a dispute, we are talking about blockchain, and basically the blockchain explorers are testing the transaction, and there is no room for additional disputes, as it is in Web2, for example, in others transactions. Here, if you have in the terms and conditions the fact clauses stating that any disputes must be settled among the parties, and also because we are talking about investors which are familiar with the blockchains, the transactions, and any other information related to the crypto space, then usually you don't have such a situation, a dispute. In terms of buyer and the seller, as Marius mentioned earlier, it is a very good idea and a very good solution with the admin person. And the escrow, also, it is a very powerful tool that basically eliminates a lot of problems on that matter.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Just a very quick curiosity, if I may, the admin, is it a lawyer, or what's the basis for the decision?
No,
It's
no,
just
he's basically
common sense.
a technical person in most of the cases. So most of the disputes on this kind of freelance marketplace are okay. You delivered a bad solution. It's not technical proof taking in consideration the initial request and so on. So it's a technical person. If Petrica, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the escrow is hi. First of all, I'm Petrica. I'm one of Marius' partners. What I want to add is the fact that the escrow smart contract is also linked by a full history both on chain and also in the in our backend, which saves actually all the interaction between the seller and the buyer. So you can see as an admin, you can see the brief that both parties agreed. So before starting a job, both the seller and the buyer, they agree a brief, which usually it has to be very detailed so that it covers all these kind of disputes in case they appear. And secondly, during the delivering of the task, the parties, they exchange information, and this information they exchange, it can be also text or even documents or deliverables temporarily sent to the buyer, are checked by the admin to see if the checkpoints have been reached and if the brief has been respected. So it's actually always putting the brief and the interaction between the buyer and the seller under research and see if who is wrong, who is right. Of course, if both of them in the end won't be an agreement, they can go further and dispute themselves. But in the end, it's usually for the first resolution is given between them. So if they agree, if that's super simple, if they agree the job was done, there's no purpose for dispute. And then if they don't agree, there's the first layer, the admin that comes and checks all the history of the job.
Very interesting. Thanks.
Filippo, I think that's all.
Yes. Yes.
Great talk, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Oana. Thank you, Marius, for accepting our invitation. And thanks everyone for watching. See you on the next episode.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for the invitation. Bye-bye. Have a lovely day.